It all comes down to Sunday. Villa beats Spurs at Villa Park on Friday. I was gonna go with the 16th. It looks like yes, the 16th. 2-0 at Villa Park. A pretty solid, commanding win. And yeah, I'll get into that in a moment. Well, why not just start there? So Spurs were more heavily rotated than I thought. Like I thought Johnson would start. Maybe Madison, and but probably one or the other. But man, they were starting a lot of these. I get it; they have nothing to play for. The thing in the league, at least, the thing they have to play for on Wednesday night, you don't want to risk them, especially with Ange's job. Frankly, on the line, if he does not win that game, he's gone. Even if he does win that game, he might still be gone. But either way, I understand why they did what they did. I thought we mostly controlled the game. The Spurs counterattacks were varying degrees of potency. Sometimes the intervention happened sooner rather than later, but I mean, they did have their chances. It was clear that, some of them were at least playing for pride or something so that it wouldn't, to at least make the traveling fans' efforts worth it to show that it was appreciated. I think that's all it really was. And, that's fine. Um, yeah, not frankly, I wish I had more to talk about. Just, I think that the whole team was like sevens to nines. No one was like having a world class game, but everyone was playing pretty well, which is a nice change of pace from when the team wants to play on the same level. It's usually like fives and sixes, and that's why we're having to make this late push. And then as far as the late push, like the only thing I would hate to see is us do this incredible late season run. Like we've won 8 of our last 9, I believe it is now, and to just slip up at Old Trafford. And now with the Newcastle result earlier, we just have to better their results. So if they, and I will get more into this later. Now we are in fifth as of now. We would be Champions League if the season ended today, but it's important to remember City have a game in hand, and it's against Bournemouth away. That I actually have City kind of winning out. Like I just think that's the logical solution. Um, but Bournemouth and Fulham, Bournemouth away, and I believe Fulham is at the Etihad, or is that away too? Because I feel like Fulham lost 3-2 at the Etihad earlier, and that was when Pep was talking to Traore. Yes, it is at Craven Cottage. So both of City's next 2 games are away. Let me just confirm that for like the millionth time. No, they're home against Bournemouth. I do apologize. I got that mixed up. Okay, Bournemouth at the Etihad. Okay, well now I'm backing City to at least beat Bournemouth. So then they'll leapfrog us, and then what happens at Fulham, I'm not sure. But yeah, I do still feel they could be banana skins just because I've seen, like I said, I saw Fulham bring it to City earlier in the season. Now, granted, that's when City was in their downward spiral. But they've had a rough week because they had that draw with Southampton, that frustrating draw, and then they lost the FA Cup final to Palace, which, you know, City for once might have some valid reasons to feel that they were on the uh, short end of the stick for something that seemed a little clear and obvious. But I mean, the only thing I can think of for that Henderson handball is that intentional handball wouldn't be up for VAR review. Like it's one of those like technical things, but a goal scoring opportunity is VAR's territory. I don't know, but then you could say a blatant handball is red. So I'm not sure exactly why it wasn't, but that's the only thing I can think of. And if that's the reason, then hey, it sucks, but that's the technicality sometimes. It sucks. Um, but either way, missing a penalty, like, yeah, you don't have much sympathy from me. Um, yeah, so then this is the first season City's gone without a trophy in God knows how long. I should have that piece of information pulled up right now, but I don't. And I think this is going to be a test for some of these players. A lot of these players, since they've been at City has been, and the long term ones are more used to it. Last year they won the league. Year before that they won the treble. So anyone who's was there for that is going to be used to winning trophies, plural. So nothing, and now you've just got to buckle down and hope you don't screw up enough just to scrape Champions League. I don't know. It's going to be an interesting test of their character. So yeah, I'm looking forward to watching. Definitely the Bournemouth game. I'm going to be busy watching Villa on the final day. But now that we've covered City as a whole topic, Newcastle face Everton at St James's Park, and Chelsea take on Forest at the City Ground. I think this will be. If anyone has differing opinions on this, like please let me know because I feel like what I'm thinking is probably the general consensus. But if it's not, I'd love to hear why. I back Newcastle at home against Everton. I think that Chelsea just how wildly inconsistent they've been all season, how much pressure this is going to be because they were in a title race and they've since spiraled as well. They did get a big win against Man United, Mark Cucurella, who I can't stand, but he's proving to be a solid left back, and I kind of hate it. Yeah. Everton, I also don't feel will be up for it after that emotional goodbye to Goodison Park. Understandably so. I mean, generations of Toffees have been going there. It's, I saw the final whistle and I was emotional. I'm actually getting a little bit of goosebumps watching it or just thinking about it. So, I, but the nice thing is, if we can beat Man United at Old Trafford, then all we need is for either Newcastle or Chelsea to get a draw. And Forest, because they beat West Ham, now have something to they still have something to play for as well. So they're not going to sit back and just like be passive. They will be trying to win that. I believe Nicholas Jackson is still suspended for Chelsea because that was last weekend, I think. Or either way, I believe he's still suspended. And yeah, I do have a good feeling. I have a good feeling. I think that if City drop points to Bournemouth, I will feel even better. But yeah, I can't believe it's almost the end of the season. Felt like just yesterday we were kicking off against West Ham, seeing Amadou Onana. Anyway, that is going to be that is just my thoughts on what happened and a little bit of typical rambling about what happened in the league and how that's impacting Villa and our Champions League run. I will probably be back before Sunday at some point to review what happened in the Europa League final and how I think that will impact Villa versus United. And then I'll try and be back on Sunday immediately after with a post match reaction. Maybe from the watering hole that I am watching the game with my friends at. And, after, and then once the dust has settled on the season, I'm going to grade the season and give my thoughts on the season as a whole, grade the season, and then react to my preseason predictions because believe it or not, I did do them. And I had Newcastle in third, and everyone laughed at me. If Newcastle get third, I don't care. I'm not a Newcastle fan. I'm going to be celebrating that. So, just between us, you're not going to tell anyone. I kind of hope Newcastle get third, so then I look really smart. But not if it means Villa don't qualify for the Champions League. That is club over everything. Okay, that's it. We got one more game, 90 minutes. It's not going to be fun, but hey, we could have Champions League on the other side, and that's what gets us through. Up the Villa!